Hello, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to
What
the
hell just happened?
181st episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr.
Oh,
No Ryan today. Mr. Rhino, how you doing up there in the Great White North?
Guess who moved up to number 2? Yeah. Assistant to the co-host, Rhino. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode. I'm sorry.
what the?
No, let it ride. Keep going.
Assistant to the co-host, Rhino Alberts. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 181 of the Alter Ego Podcast. Nello, how you doing down there, bud?
This like saying I'm the first loser or something? What is going on?
Nobody implied it.
To the what?
What does
What's
that make
up,
you?
everyone? Welcome to the Alter Ego Podcast.
Okay, we're not doing that 3 times. How is everybody? Good to see you. Welcome back. Oh my goodness, getting back into the groove of things. Now, today, kids, we're going to talk about a few things kind of in our chat that's happened, things I want to touch on, maybe some discussion pieces that we may have wasted 5 minutes talking about before we press record, but we're going to rehash it here. But we're talking about Agatha all along today. 2 out of the 3 of us have seen the series. We will talk non-spoilers, and then we will talk spoilers. So,
Can we talk about why Nello looks like a Shylock?
I don't know what the fuck is that?
that is a what's your language? Is a debt collector. Is
Oh.
a low-level debt collector.
No problem. I wouldn't be good at it.
So why do you?
I don't know. I got a haircut today.
You got
And,
gold chain, the hair is slicked back.
My
You never
man
met
got-
an Italian man before? How many Italian men have you met that don't have at least one gold chain?
Well, listen, the Italians up here aren't real Italians.
I bet you even they have at least one gold piece of jewelry on their body at all times.
I've
I
only
think out of the
One
hundreds
piece
and
of jewelry,
hundreds of people I've met in the upper Midwest, I think 2 of them have been real Italians.
Italians.
this is good content here. But we were going to talk about Agatha all along. Our impressions, obviously, where we think it is leading for sure, because Nello has big problems with it, and I can't wait to answer some of his questions and talk to him a little bit about it because, yeah, I thought it was an excellent show. So that being said, let's get into it. We first bit that I wanted to talk about was the talks. The initial thought of the Eternals, who we all love,
Wait,
We're
what?
all
No,
big,
no.
major fans of the Eternals.
Don't start this crap.
loved the movie, really wanted a sequel, but have kind of had our hearts broken that we won't get a second one.
Mello has consistently put the Eternals in his top 3 every time we have this conversation.
The top 3 worst ever.
Top 3 favorite, not just favorite MCU movies, but favorite movies, period.
Yeah, and you changed your PSN handle to Daddy Icarus XOXO,
I don't even know who that is. That's how.
and
bad
then
that
3 == D.
movie is. Ooh,
Why did you do that?
because I like the 4, but I thought 4 might be too big.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Why do we
anyway.
need this, Jack? Tell me why we need this, because I know you are like intrigued by this theory. I don't think we need.
I
it,
am
but-
intrigued. And I'm not going to say need. That's not the right word. But I think this is one of those movies that when you look at the Eternals, the first one, the scale of it and the budget and the actors and all the people that were involved, I think that's one of the reasons it is such a let's put air quotes failure, because there are people who like the movie, but the movie cost a lot to make. And it was not well received because this is the first time we've seen a brand new team since Guardians?
You think that was the reason, the brand new team?
I do. I think it was, where's Iron Man? Where's Thor? Where are the people that I typically care about? You were entering something that could have been a standalone movie and not told people it was Marvel, and they would not have known.
So it basically, to me, the Eternals was a the director of the Guardians. What is his name? I'm skipping his name right now. I don't know.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. So it was a non-James Gunn Guardian attempt, is what it was, and it was a swing and a miss, because the Guardians were also not very well-known characters outside of the comic book world when they were put onto film.
Right.
And James Gunn obviously hit that one out of the park, so they tried to do it again with the Eternals, and it was a huge swing and a miss. I think that the MCU is going to quietly adopt James Gunn's idea of having animated features be canon to the actual universe, because I think this is a great way to reintroduce the Eternals to the canon MCU universe and be able to have them appear in features like the Avengers movies we have coming out, or maybe they make cameos in other galactic level movies like a Doctor Strange 3 or maybe a Guardians 4 if that does eventually come out. So I think having an animated feature that is much less costly to make but still have it be canon is a great way to bring in characters that you may not know about or features that may not have been very good to begin with, and they want to keep rolling with them.
First of all, I don't think Doctor Strange 3 is the right movie to call out for that. I don't think Doctor Strange is one, although he did do a hefty amount of lifting in the What If series. I don't think he's one that would get an anime, but maybe a Guardians 4. I don't know. But I agree with you completely. And I think that the Eternals can use that platform of an anime to do more and cost less and still maybe catch a younger audience with it and get them interested in it from the anime platform. And they can just, I don't know, they can expand on the story more without spending millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you as a consumer don't have to go to a movie theater to go see it. You can sit on Disney Plus and watch a couple of episodes and enjoy it.
What was the premise of Eternals?
Was to introduce the Celestials.
And it gave us Tiamat.
What was their purpose? What was the purpose of the movie?
That's the purpose of the Celestials is to come in and they either can or cannot influence how society grows, how evolution happens.
Grows, yeah.
Sounds like a soap opera.
Well, so to answer that question more broad strokes, the Eternals were brought in to expand the MCU beyond a single solitary planet, beyond even the galaxy that they're in.
Right,
talking
about
Thanos and Titan and all that. It was meant to broaden to an entire universe and an entire reality. That's why the Eternals did that via the Celestials. It's funny because the Celestials are the biggest deal that show up in that movie, and they're kind of not that present. Is that fair to say?
I mean, the only one that was really even impactful was is it Aramesh?
Aramesh, yeah.
Aramesh, yeah. That's the only one that was even impactful in the movie because he's the lead Celestial and he comes and says, you know, you guys stopped my plan here, yada, 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 whatever. We don't
Yep, and then he takes that feller from Silicon Valley and goes back out into space, leaving us with Kit Harington.
So basically, they took a good concept, wrote a terrible movie, and then just...
I wouldn't say it was a terrible movie. It just was not... It's like Rhino said, Guardians was not your typical Marvel movie.
It was funny.
It swung and it missed.
It was funny.
This one was not your typical Marvel movie.
If you go down the list of every single Marvel movie that we have gotten from Iron Man 1 all the way to the most recent movie we've gotten, Guardians stands out as a completely different... Even the Thor movies don't necessarily compare to Guardians until they literally had the Guardians in Thor 4. So that's what they tried doing with Eternals. Is like, oh, hey, let's make another space-based movie, another galactic-based movie with a team that nobody really knows about. I think you had to have the more serious tone with the movie. I just don't think it was done properly. It could have been very good.
Let's throw some big names in there. Angelina Jolie, and we're
Salma
Hayek and the guy fresh off of Game of Thrones.
Okay, so assuming all these actors come together, so you're saying me the Eternals were brought in from the Marvel Universe to open a galactic avenue, and did they do that with that movie?
No, they did not.
Okay, see, so
no,
all complete.
Hence the open the door to it, not the show us all of it. Thor did a better job of that, and Guardians did a better job of that than Eternals did.
Agreed. I 100% agree.
But there are two characters from that movie though that I really want to see a little bit more development with. That's Star Fox and Pip the Troll,
who are two characters that are basically end credit scenes.
Is Star Fox doing a barrel roll?
Do a barrel roll.
Barrel roll.
Love me some Star Fox.
I love that. By the way.
But you know that's not the sign of a good movie if all you want to see is the people at the end credit scene. And I think that's why anime is a better way to go for this.
I mean, I guess.
And I was saying this sets up the possibility for the Guardians to make cameos in other movies. I wasn't trying to say Doctor Strange 4 would be an anime. I meant this is a cheap way to reintroduce these characters to the MCU.
Gotcha.
So they can have future live action. Yeah.
I think it works better. It's easier to animate a celestial being or a galactic being than to sit there and CGI it or get somebody in a costume and so on and so forth. So you open up more avenues, and I'm assuming voice acting is cheaper than getting Angelina Jolie to read 3 lines while I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, it just was too much of a drawn out movie. It just was a big miss for me, but I am again happy to see them return. What was the other thing that you were wanting to talk about? Oh, the casual fans and Red Hulk.
Very upset after, I guess, D3 in Brazil or D20 or whatever the hell happened.
There's a toy.
D23.
Yeah, that one.
That was introduced. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we got a whole smorgasbord of stuff to talk about there. Got trailers for Daredevil Born Again, Ironheart, Marvel Zombies. We got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the trailer you shared in our production meeting was amazing.
Huge. I almost want to just kind of go over the whole Red Hulk thing. Guys, just enjoy the movie, okay? If you see a spoiler online, shame on you.
It isn't the first time. It isn't the first time they've released a toy and it's spoiled a movie. Think of Wakanda Forever and so on and so forth.
I also think that the MCU strategically does this. They have strategically planted things that either have or haven't happened or have kind of led to a little bit of a spoiler or hasn't led to a little bit of spoiler. The biggest one, I always bring this up every time we discuss something like this. The very first Infinity War trailer showed the Hulk running through Wakanda.
Right.
Well, the Hulk was never in Wakanda. It was just Bruce Banner.
Correct.
So the MCU has got really good at playing head games with stuff like this.
Not to mention the MCU is not leaking this, right? So like people who see these toys are like, I'm outraged because look at this.
Literally,
nobody else knew was happening, right? And then they come out and go, I'm so angry. Aren't you angry that they did this that I'm showing you that you otherwise wouldn't have known unless I showed you just now? Tell me I'm wrong.
I guess that's...
No, you're not. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct.
It's just kind of ironic to me that they would come out and be like, I can't believe someone else spoiled this via my Twitter.
Have you seen this? Look what they're spoiling. I actually hadn't seen it, but thanks.
Were you on Reddit scrolling?
Look at this. I was in the Marvel spoilers feed, and wouldn't you know? Get the fuck out of here, man.
I get it, but I don't know. Sometimes placement of toys, maybe you release the toy a little bit later, so on and so forth. But I think from everything we've read about Captain America, I think they're just trying to draw any interest they can to this movie.
Yeah. And you know, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to go see it early. I'm going to enjoy it. But I just, I don't know. It was kind of wild.
This might be the first major theatrical release Marvel has had where I am probably not inclined to go watch it in theater.
I'm going to go watch it in theaters because I want to see the Serpent Society.
Well, you also go see it for free. So, I mean,
Ant-Man Quantumania, whatever the hell that movie was, the last Ant-Man was probably the one that I'm like, I'm not paying to see this crap.
All I know is Daredevil Born Again looks so good.
Is it like finger licking good or just good?
It is. There is a moment in the trailer, spoilers for the trailer. If you don't want anything, hit that little fast forward 20 seconds button a couple times, but we're going to talk about it. There's a sit down between Kingpin and Daredevil. If that ain't some Heat shit, you don't know the movie Heat, look at the movie Heat, where he's like, oh, I don't think your better half would, or your darker half would.
Well, it was Matt Murdock, which makes it actually better.
Murdock talking to the Kingpin, knowing fully who each other is.
They both know who each other is.
Yeah.
Which at this point, I'm like, fuck yeah.
This has to be redemption time for Kingpin. It has to be.
Yeah.
The few things I've been reading online and stuff, I'm excited for Daredevil. We're going to get a lot of team ups. There's going to be a lot of salt and pepper shaken on this show.
By the way, I have to admit something real quick, and this is for you, Nello, because I love you very much. I do have to admit something. Months ago, I debated Nello on this very show.
No way.
Okay.
I'm eating a piece of humble pie right now. Eating my plate of crow.
Dude, I love this.
Oh.
Months ago, we discussed Punisher being in the series, and I said, no way.
Yeah, you did.
You did say
you
that.
did.
And this young, handsome gentleman that you see on the bottom of your screen said, yes, Punisher will be in the series.
Makes sense.
He's in the trailer.
I also said that.
We did.
Yeah, but I wasn't debating you. I was debating Noah.
So
I'm coming. To
here's something that's very, very, very cool to me. They showed, it's got to be one of many villains that are showing up in this series. One of which is the guy with the white mask and the black toboggan or beanie on, or whatever you want to call it, and the black stripes down his eyes. I didn't know who that was. So my boy over at Screen Crush informed me his name is Muse. Anybody ever heard of Muse?
Negative.
So Muse is a serial killer who finds murder like the highest form of art. So he kills people and then brutalizes their bodies to make art pieces.
That's sick, twisted, and dark. I love
Instantly
it.
the most evil villain that Marvel has probably put out.
So I hear that and I'm like, okay, Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay, Daredevil.
I mean, it's rated R, right? It's rated R for a reason.
This is a series.
Yeah.
They're showing him and you're showing Big Pun. Disney Plus is taking the gloves off with this show.
And they have to.
They have to. They absolutely have to.
Because DC is doing it with the Penguin, so they've got to match.
I don't think it's that so much. I don't think they look at DC like that. I don't mean to sound insensitive to the DC fanboys, Mark, out there. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't think Marvel sees you as a threat at all. However, they have seen what works for their fans and what doesn't. And
I also think
that works for Mickey, cheddar, baby.
I also think that they've seen how poorly some of their Marvel series have gone simply because of the fact that they have pumped the brakes a little bit, given that the big D is on that logo. And they're like, you know what? If we're going to do Marvel, let's do Marvel.
Right.
And as long as they advertise it as such, this is an adult show. This is not meant for little 8-year-old Timmy to watch. Right. People shouldn't have a problem with how graphic or grotesque the show potentially could be.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Marvel realizes that they can't just send out kitty superhero shows. Adults and like even older teenagers want something that is more, I don't know, dark or just gory.
I want it to be character based. I want it to be character based. If I'm going to watch something with Daredevil and with Punisher in it and Kingpin, I don't want them to be playing fucking hopscotch for 8 episodes. I want to see somebody get the shit kicked out of them.
And I don't want Punisher having any single solitary moment of this is a moral dilemma if I kill this guy or not.
No, he just kills. That's it.
Unload that clip on somebody, bro.
Right. That's what I want. And I think Disney kind of realized that the people with the wallets are the ones who want to see the good content.
Are we getting Spider-Man and Daredevil? Anything? Not even a little sprinkle.
Here's what I'm going to say here. And this is, I haven't seen it. I have no intentions of seeing it. I'll probably go to one of those Marvel movies I've never seen, which is the third Venom. Now, if you weren't going to introduce Spider-Man in 3 Venom movies and a Carnage movie, you're not going to introduce him in that. You're not going to introduce him in Daredevil.
I would like to say one thing about Venom. I watched Venom 1. I watched Venom and I watched There Will Be Carnage. Those movies are trash. Ed Hardy and that Venom is not.
Ed Hardy, the guy who made the
Tom
t-shirts?
Hardy, whatever. Stop it.
I disagree with you.
I don't mind Brock. I don't mind him playing Brock. If Marvel brings him back to play Venom, I wouldn't be upset. I said it last time, and I redouble down. I haven't seen the new one. I'm waiting for that to go on Amazon so I can buy it and watch it at home.
My take on Tom Hardy as Brock is Sony ruined what could have been with Tom Hardy as Brock. I think if the MCU were to have started at scratch with Tom Hardy, it would have been exponentially a better Brock for sure. But with what Sony did with that character, it was terrible.
Now they destroyed Carnage. Woody Harrelson.
Can I also say that Tom Hardy's not a tough guy, Eddie Brock?
No.
Flash Thomas and all those guys, Eddie Brock, they're tough guys.
Yeah.
Go in there, they start the fight. They're kind of headstrong. They're kind of assholes. This Eddie Brock was not that.
He was too goofy.
I don't mind it, though. I don't mind it.
Way too goofy. Just not.
Well, it's the same concept with what they did with Thor. Like, okay, a little bit of comedic relief out of Thor is fine, but what they did, like towards the end of Ragnarok and with Love and Thunder, he was a punchline, and that's not who Thor is in the comic books. He's not a punchline. Yes, he has many moments where he offers comedic value, but to make him like a Star-Lord style character was horrible. And that's exactly what they did with Eddie Brock in the Sony Venomverse, is they made him a Star-Lord like character.
I don't even like the voice, to be honest with you.
Really? I just rewatched some lore. I was like, oh, what's this? I want to watch this. I'm like, these are terrible. And they were terrible, but he wasn't bad. It's just Sony needs to stop making movies or those types of movies because they're bad.
So many times where it's like, this guy is such a great actor. Wait till you see him. And the only thing they do is do a passable American accent.
Dude, he would compete with Cumberbatch on how horrible their American accent is. It's so bad.
I was on pins and needles like, is he about to disagree with me on this? I'm so glad you didn't, because I think Cumberbatch's is awful too. Let Stephen Strange just be British.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not terrible though. I've heard worse, but it's not good.
It wouldn't have ruined his character if they would have just made Doctor Strange a British dude who immigrated.
Tell you this one time. What master do you serve?
What is he, your ward?
Yeah. I was like, dude, no. Let him be something else. It's fine. Anyway, yes, very excited for Muse. Excited for Ironheart. I don't know. Rhino, you said you're not a fan of the guy who's playing the Hood, right?
Yeah, he was in what was the Transformers where they had the beasts in there?
What?
Like they had the gorilla transformer and they had
the animal ones or whatever.
Yeah. Hold on.
So he played the human that teamed up with Optimus Prime. Remember, he got the human Transformer suit at the end, and he went to go fight the other. I don't even know their names at this point.
Rise of the Beasts.
Rise of the Beasts. There we go. He was in that. He was also in the new Twister movie that came out. There's something about him. He's one of those actors where I cannot stand his acting style.
Okay. I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about
it. Was that rant music? Did you just give me rant music?
That's Google Music, my friend. I thought you were familiar with the show.
I couldn't hear it all the way in my headphones. There's no snare. There's no snare in my headphones.
Rose Gold was throwing it off. No, I got you. This is a weird villain for an Ironheart to take on. Not weird bad, just not what you would expect. Let's look at all of our armored Avengers. All two of them, War Machine and Iron Man.
Oh, no, don't forget Rescue.
Okay, Rescue shows up for just a brief moment in time in the end game, and it's cool. Okay, I'll give you Rescue. I just think that like they fight people like Whiplash, Ironmonger. You know what I mean? Like the Iron folks typically fight the Iron folks. Even in Wakanda Forever, she's fighting with people who have vibranium armor on, stuff like that. And she's fighting the Atlanteans or whatever the hell you want to call them. This is a different kind of villain to go after. I dig it. The big bad, though, is somebody who is rumored who will come up later. I don't want to talk about that because that villain is also featured in Agatha All Along.
Ooh,
so
tying it all together.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick little breaky poo, and then we're gonna break into the Agatha conversation.
Yeah, let's do that.
Shall we?
Get it over with.
Let's pump the brakes here. Take a little break. Oh, by the way, speaking of ads, guys, the platform that we're on right now wants a crazy amount of ads. They want like 3 or 4 breaks in the middle of the show. It's awful. If I don't do that, though, we don't get any kind of ads, so we don't get any kind of anything. So I apologize for those little one-off ads that are probably going to interrupt your show, but they're necessary evil. So I apologize. This will be our first official break, but we will be right back. And when I record, I typically press. And we're back. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk Agatha All Along. Now, this show follows Agatha Harkness, played by Catherine Hahn, who was introduced in the MCU via WandaVision, right? She was the one kind of helping Wanda, kind of her best friend in the show. And then you find out that she's manipulating her, and she is also a witch, and witches are a real thing. Oh my God. And she tries to betray Wanda and then she finds out that, you know what I mean? That's like your toddler thinking they're about to pull one over on you, and then
she messed with the wrong kitty.
Yeah, mom or dad stops playing, and they're like, oh, I never had a chance. Got it. Understood. Yeah, I'll go to my room. So Wanda sends Agatha to her room, and you pick up on Agatha in Westview, and this is the whole thing of her breaking loose from Wanda and then going through the Witch's Road.
Down the Witch's Road.
Yes, very catchy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the song. I thought it was great. It's an ensemble cast. A lot of people in there, most notably Joe. What's his name? I've got it pulled up on IMDb. Hold on. Sorry. Going to the cast. Joe Locke, who plays the teen. You've got Catherine Hahn.
I thought the most noticeable one was the chick from that 70s show.
And Aubrey Plaza.
I love that chick from that 70s show.
You know what? Write her a letter, tell her how much you love her. But let's get back to this show. Overall impressions. Where do I rate it on the show scale? For me, who likes different things, who likes uniqueness. For that, I'd say it's one of the most unique shows that's been on Disney Plus in terms of the Marvel series. I would put it up there with WandaVision and Loki season 1.
No. What?
I would.
I'm sorry.
There's no.
When you're saying uniqueness, you're talking about just the concept of the show being different, or actual value that the like as good, like how good the show is.
This is something that
the second part wasn't the definition of uniqueness.
No, just I just want to be clear because I'm missing a concept. It was cool because it was fresh. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But to Loki, come
Which
on,
is unique.
Give me a fucking break.
Okay,
give me a break.
That's the definition of unique.
Okay,
I get it. I understand, but I'm still saying you're Loki.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so this is the reason I say that is because with Loki, you had an idea of what you were getting.
Right?
Was it spectacular? Yeah.
Amazing.
Was it great?
Season 1
great.
was amazing.
It was cool. A lot of great performances. You expected that. It's Tom Hiddleston. It's right off the footsteps of one of
Wilson.
the greatest sagas in Marvel history. Actually, no, the greatest saga in Marvel history, which is the Infinity Saga. It's the greatest.
True.
Going off of all those performances, going into Loki, who is a character that is heavily featured in that series. Was it unique, the plot of the Time Variance Authority? Sure. But it was Loki. You knew what to expect. You knew what you were going to get. With Agatha, we had no idea. No idea what we were going to get in the show. No idea what the purpose of it was. A lot of people talked about that even on this show. I don't know why we need. You think, how does this sound like? I don't know why we need an Agatha show, bro.
I watched the show and I still don't know why we needed it. And I watched all 8 episodes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So what'd you think of Werewolf by Night?
I loved it.
Right?
I loved all 45
why do we need
that show.
Why do we need that? Okay.
That was good though.
No further questions.
You're introducing other characters. You didn't introduce anything in this.
Okay. So we've established that Nello didn't really watch the series.
I did watch the series 100%.
Right,
Death.
Yeah. Well, we're not spoiling anything yet.
Sorry.
But we are going to talk about the show, and I think Aubrey Plaza was absolutely incredible. She was so good. Every moment she was on the screen, she dominated. She was very entertaining, and just I don't know. She was the second best part of this show.
The Agatha actress herself is amazing. She was amazing.
Catherine Hahn.
She was amazing in WandaVision, and she was amazing in this too.
That was the next point that I was going to get as I mute every other mic here. Is that Catherine Hahn? I would watch her lead any series, period. She is far and away the best performer in that series. She's incredible. She is capable of every single thing they asked her to do. She is funny. She's emotional. She can do the action scenes. She has it all. She was A-lister in terms of a leading person to lead the show.
And the way she transitioned from highs to lows and just like happies to sads to angries to upset was really
crazies.
Good. It was really good.
Yeah. She's definitely got a relationship with Aubrey Plaza in the show. That's the big thing that they kind of hint at, but they don't say. But all in all, I think it leads to a lot that we'll get to when we start talking about big spoilers for the show. That things I don't know if you either don't know or haven't thought about. That's fine. That's why we're here to have this discussion. But I definitely recommend Agatha to absolutely any and everybody. I loved the series, start to finish.
It's a good intermediate watch while you're waiting for something else to come. It's not like the greatest watch, but it's not a bad watch either.
Right. Nello doesn't like dialogue or...
I thought it was good. I just don't think it was amazing. It's not like...
Where are they going to kiss?
I also don't understand why people made such a big deal over that kiss. I was
there are a lot of gay themes in the movie, but it's all MCU.
What episode and what timestamp is that kiss?
I think it's episode 6.
It is the finale, so it's episode 8.
Oh, it's episode 8.
Oh no, it's the one before.
7.
Anyway, yeah, 7. Anyway, let's do this. Let's get into the spoiler-roos, shall we? Let's talk about it. So, gang, if you don't want to be spoiled for Agatha all along, now's your chance. See you next week. But the name of the episode's Agatha All Along discussion, review, that kind of stuff. So if you don't want to hear any more, now's your chance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And yes, the big one that we kind of said during the non-spoilers is that Aubrey Plaza plays a witch named Rio. I gotta see what her full name is, because her full name actually means something. Rio something. And then the translation for it. She plays the literal embodiment of death. And
Lady
so
Death.
That is a real character. And there's a lot of people who are in love with Death, and Death has a lot of people that she is in love with. Namely, in the comics, Thanos. Well, she's not really in love with Thanos, but Thanos is in love with her. And Deadpool. Deadpool and Death are very much in love because she can't have him. But this show features Agatha Harkness. You got the name for me?
Rio Vidal.
Rio Vidal. Now, what's the translation there?
I'll translate 1 second, please.
Okay. I think it's a river of life.
Yeah. I like it's if I'm not
Rio is river.
And Vidal is like life, a form of life.
Right. So she's like literally the river of life and death.
Well, it's because she's the Green Witch. So that's that whole concept.
So the whole premise of it is, if you're Agatha is still under the hex.
She has no powers
from Wanda, and Wanda has taken all of her power, cut it off. So she is living in this. It's only one episode where she's kind of living this cop drama,
which I enjoyed a lot.
Which was great, because then you see Aubrey Plaza's character show up, and she's kind of like, she's playing along, like, oh, how do you think the case is going to go? And she's clearly fucking with her.
Yeah.
And then eventually the teen shows up, breaks that curse, and says, the whole hook, the whole curmudgeon for the whole series, take me to the Witch's Road. I want to go to the Witch's Road.
He like shows up as like this nerdy kid with this like little spell book. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like an apprentice. I want to be a witch.
I'm
blah 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 blah. Yeah.
But I've studied you. I know enough to help you, and blah 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 blah.
But what was really
she does get her powers back.
Oh, we'll get there. So the whole thing is, when she comes back, when the teen breaks her out of it, everybody, it's kind of like a beacon, right? Everybody knows where she is and that she's basically defenseless. And so
I think you're jumping ahead.
Rio shows up.
You're jumping ahead though. Like
let's hear your analysis.
No, but the whole point was when she meets the kid and she asks, "What's your name?" The kid has some sort of a hex or a spell or a sigil that he tells her, "My name is blah 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 blah," and she can't hear it.
Right.
So that's when her memory starts to jog as she's going towards the first witch or whatever the fortune teller's name was.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Fine.
I promise we'll get there.
God, I can't keep it.
She meets the kid and he says, "Take me to the Witch's Road." And that's when the conversation starts. She's like, "Witch's Road isn't real." And he's like, "Yeah, you're just fucking with me. That's what everybody says." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, who are you?" Which was the next point I was going to arrive at, but no, hey, can't wait. Has to hear it.
All right, fine.
I want the pizza. Get it out of the oven.
I deal with that all the time.
The cheese isn't melted.
And then she finds out that he has the sigil on him. And that's when she's kind of like, oh, shit. Somebody doesn't want anybody to know who you are. And you seem very talentless, yet you broke a spell from the Scarlet Witch. Don't know how you did that, so sure, I'll play. And then she goes and gets all the other witches in the area to form this coven to have them walk the witches' road. And the one witch they don't have, the green one. And the green one is, of course, Aubrey Plaza. And the way that Catherine Hahn played this is like, it's fine. We don't need it. Let's all just circle up and do this thing.
She just gets the random neighbor to
let me grab the neighbor. And she does. And the Salem 7, who are very famous in Marvel lore in terms of that sect of, Marvel of witches, the Salem 7 are actually Agatha's grandchildren in the comic book, I believe, are coming to kill her.
I thought it was her mother was part of them, or was it her siblings or nieces and nephews or something like that?
Nope.
Because she kills her mother.
Boy, you're just jumping all over the place. I'm just gonna, I was the Big Lebowski for Halloween. I'm just gonna start going, shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Damn it.
So no, in the comics, they are her grandchildren, but the promise of going to the Witch's Road is that you get this power at the end. If you reach the end of the road, you get whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's like the Wizard of Oz. Once you get to the end, click your heels, you get what you ask for out of the road. And so I don't want to spoil too much. Let's just say they get there and they get to the road and they start walking it. And each section of the road tests a different witch, right? So each witch ends up getting a trial while they're on it. And all of them, I've been watching some of these breakdown videos, man. The level of detail,
very, very detailed,
is insane, of each trial, of each house, of everything they do, the reason for what they do. And you can kind of tell that all of these witches that end up happening to be around kind of are fated to be there. And they're all somehow connected to Agatha.
Which one was your favorite trial without ruining the trials for people?
Lilia, who was the one who could read the tarot.
Oh, I thought the fire trial was the best.
Oh, where they had to, that was a really good one. So all these witches all have something wrong, all have something they're looking for at the end of the road. And the teen, who let's talk about the teen. You find out about halfway through the series is not just the random teen. He is actually Billy Maximoff, or Billy Kaplan from the comics. He is Wiccan, who is Wanda Maximoff's son, one of the twins. Which the reveal of that is quite amazing.
Really good.
Yeah, because Agatha keeps going through these moments where it's great to see her, because you're always having that "can I trust her" moment. Like, is this a moment she's being genuine, or is she just trying to kill everybody?
Is she really this evil as you're portraying her to be, or is she actually like just misconstrued?
Right. And they end up needing their green witch, so they end up doing this kind of spell to see who they can summon, and who shows up?
Rio,
Aubrey Plaza, baby. And that's when you start to go, okay, Agatha's really terrified of this person. And then, all these little clues that lead into her being Lady Death. And then I think the biggest spoiler of them all is coming in that second to last episode. And you find out that the Witch's Road is not real. That the Witch's Road is one of these things that Agatha used to use against other witches to say, hey, I can get you power. Let's go to the Witch's Road. And then they would blast her. She'd kill them all, move on.
And that's how she would like re-up her powers.
Or how she got stronger, was tricking. And they say in the show, thousands of witches.
Is that how she also stayed young?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Because that's what she does in the comic books, is that she has to stay young.
Right.
She kept saying that throughout the whole show, even to Billy Max, to the kids, like, you're going to feel like this for a lot. Get used to it. This is what's going to happen.
Right. This is how it is being a witch. If you don't like it, I really don't know what to tell you.
Get used to it.
But so basically in the I think it's pretty close to comic accurate. Billy Kaplan is in a car accident outside of the hex where Wanda's doing her thing, right as it's closing, right as it's going away. And so the soul of Billy Maximoff finds its way into Billy Kaplan as he's dying. Right. So then he kind of wakes up like, oh shit, I'm out.
What am I doing? What's going on?
And so that's when that Billy starts to kind of figure out what's going on, discovers Agatha, and that's where you're like, that's why he's so powerful.
And he knows her though. Like he might not know what she is like from her past, but he knows exactly who she is. Right. I believe from the beginning.
Right. So then there becomes that tension between those two. And you're like, so what is the purpose of the road? Why are you here? And he's like, I'm here because I'm going to find Tommy. I'm going to find my brother. And that's what I think the biggest thing that this show is leading into is the Young Avengers. Because
do you think he, like in this show, there's a part where they're in the last trial and she's holding it. It's like, think.
Well, so she's walking him through, because I think that when Billy was outside of the hex and finally free, I think he not only had his soul, but I think he's holding Tommy as well.
Okay.
So that's why he can always feel Tommy. He's always talking about Tommy, and that's why he's always in his mind. And that's why when she was like, okay, I'm gonna help you do this shit. And that's why Rio's like, I want that guy. He's mine. I either take him or I take you. So make a choice, because he's on borrowed time. That guy that he's inhabiting is dead. I want him.
Because he broke the whole mold and the rules of death and stuff, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's where she kind of comes into play.
That whole scene, even like they set up throughout the whole scene about how Agatha was like, oh, she had a kid. She gave up that she traded her kid in for the Book of the Dead. Or
yes, that's what they say, is that the Darkhold is what protects Agatha for that long. And the thing is, the rumor about her is that she traded her son, Nicholas Scratch, for the Darkhold.
And that's that. I mean,
well, that ends up not being the case that they show in the show, which is pretty incredible.
I thought that was like the most powerful, segment. Like that episode 6 and 7 were probably the most powerful episodes of the whole show.
Definitely. But there isn't they allude to the fact that Tommy is now alive and out there in the world. So that ends up being the big thing. At the end, it's Rio fighting Agatha, who does get her power back from Billy. So she shows up powerless, and Rio's like, uh-oh, you're not on the road anymore. I'm here to kill you. And so they end up fighting, and Billy says, don't kill me, please. Gives her a shit ton of power.
And she
is like, I'm back, baby. And so then they both take on Rio, and she
realizes we can't beat Death.
She beats the shit out of them. And it's pretty fucking amazing. Right. I loved that fight, by the way. And that's when, Agatha ends up saying, we're fighting Death. We don't win.
I kind of like the first fight between them better, where there was like FBI agent versus detective or whatever in the house in the second episode, where she starts to realize, okay, this isn't about a murder. This is I know you from somewhere. But
guys, Nello watched a different show. Don't listen to Nello.
No. It's like we fought in the second episode, and she's like,
"Not
you can't kill me. You can't kill me. I can't kill you." After they were eating pizza on the couch.
Nope, that's false.
They did fight.
Okay,
in the house,
guys. Listen, Nello watched.
And then she's like,
show.
"I can't kill you." And then she pulls out her little dagger thing. She's like, "So I'll just call the Salem 7."
Okay, don't listen to Nello. He's not a credible source. But so this doesn't just open up the window for the Maximoff children, though, because there is a huge tie-in for Agatha to the Fantastic Four.
Watch episode 2.
We're going to talk about it as soon as this is done, and you're going to be like, "Oh my god, I'm so stupid."
I'll admit it.
There's a huge tie-in for Agatha to the Fantastic Four.
Big time.
There's also a huge tie-in for Death to appear in any kind of cameo style with maybe a Thanos cameo or even Deadpool
or anything.
Literally anything. Yeah, I mean, she could also appear because Loki is a love interest of Death as well at one point, right?
Right. All I know is that she is a huge character to show up. They also talk about Agatha possibly being an agent of Mephisto. So Mephisto's name, the first time in all of Marvel, is actually spoken in Agatha all along. So that's pretty incredible. I think this leads to it because, spoiler alert, we're talking about spoilers. Agatha dies. Agatha goes, you know what? You win. She is getting ready to walk away because Billy is like, "Oh, it's fine. Take me. I'm already dead. Take me." She's like, "Okay, bye." And then he looks at Death and says, or looks at her and goes, "Is this how you lost your son?" And as soon as she says that, Agatha's like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I about to sacrifice this kid? And she goes up and sacrifices herself and then comes back as a ghost. And so her as a ghost is like, all right, let's go find Tommy. And the crazy thing about it is the whole second to last episode, they're talking about how the Witch's Road is not real. It's never been real. But when Wiccan was thinking about it,
that's what made it
he's
real.
so powerful. He created the road. He created the challenges in his mind. He created that entire reality with the challenges and everything. So that's why when, Agatha's down there, she's like, oh, I've been down here before. Yeah, I got out. No big deal. She knows she's full of shit. She
bluffing.
knows when they're like, oh, here's the road. She's like, what the fuck? It's because they're showing how powerful Billy Maximoff is going to be.
Yeah, when she looked down in like episode 3 and she's like, holy shit, this actually worked.
Right.
And then later in the show, like you said, you realize that it's only because.
And Agatha keeps showing him, keeps looking to him. So what next, kid? What are we doing now? Because she knows the whole time that it's just not fucking
right.
Which I thought was exceptional. I thought that was so cool. A lot of the witches that go on that trial, though, they do die. And they die for a lot of different reasons. And every single one of them is meaningful and
it's purposeful.
Tells a big part of the story. It's pretty incredible.
Purposeful.
I think for this show, there does not need to be season 2. I think for the fact that she is dead and she is a ghost and she's helping Wiccan, that she is not going to have anything to do with the Fantastic Four, because literally she's dead. So unless they find a way to reincarnate her body or bring that ghost back into it, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think Agatha's going to be back in that purpose. But I think she'll play a big part in Young Avengers. I think she'll be kind of like a secondary conscience for Billy or for Wiccan. And I think the next thing that they're going to do is go to try to, because that's the last thing she says is, let's go find Tommy.
Yeah, they're walking out of the
But I think Tommy is going to be found by Vision. And so
is
Billy,
the Hood in the show?
The Hood is not in Agatha.
Oh, okay.
That's my problem, is that there's really no villain.
Death.
Why does there need to be a villain? First of all, death. But
Death
why does there need to be
a villain though? Death is there. Like, it's just like, hey, this is what I do. I'm sorry. Even when with her whole,
there's no hero either, though.
Billy.
He's not a hero. He's looking for the road. He's an undead kid trying to find his undead twin brother.
I guess that's what my problem is. There's really no direction, and there's just
you don't. Okay, here, let's go back to that word that we used earlier: uniqueness. There does not need to be a traditional hero. There does not need to be a traditional villain for a story to have merit, be good, and go somewhere. This story definitely breaks those barriers. It's an amazing story. And you don't need to say, hey, I'm cheering for that guy, because when you do that, you fall into these tropes of, that's the good guy, he's got to do this. That's the bad guy, he's got to do this. This leaves it open. Anybody can do anything at any time for any purpose. It's so much more real and so much more grounded, I think, than a lot of these traditional hero stories. I mean, think about it. Let's talk Captain and the Winter Soldier, which we were already talking about. When Cap shows up, Cap is going to act a certain way and do a certain thing every time he's Captain America. He's the hero. He has a certain prescribed way that he's going to act or react. Incorrect or correct?
To a certain extent, you're right. Yeah.
So same stands to reason for a villain. So when you don't have those typical tropes, the possibilities are endless. That's why I think Agatha is so unique and so good. I don't know. I think
it was good, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just don't understand why. What are we building here? What is the building block to this? If it's Young Avengers, I get it. I understand.
Wiccan is the big payoff.
But you're also opening up the whole Scarlet Witch and Doctor Doom. Like, so you are opening a door to God knows what.
Oh, I guess that's what that means then. Shoot.
Yeah, but Agatha's a ghost.
What? So what does that matter?
I don't know. She's really, I get the whole sacrifice part, because even if she makes a deal with Rio, it's like when they're in the Witch's Road, it's like, it's either you or him, figure it out. And she's like, not only will I give you him, he'll come willingly.
Well, no, that's what Rio says, is he has to come willingly.
Right. And then
trick him into it.
And she does. And then she just flicks something in her head and she's like, you know what? Screw all this shit. And she just goes in for the mwah of death.
Yep. Kiss of death, which was,
another thing too is Billy at some point in time in the comics actually does become the Sorcerer Supreme as well.
He's a huge character, huge. I mean, in terms of where Marvel is now, right? in the first iterations where you have, Scarlet Witch and Thor and Iron Man, those are the big dogs. And in the big time comics, Wiccan's not a big player there. But for the people who are off the board and needing to introduce characters that have meaning and deep ties into the MCU, Wiccan's a great option. And let's be real, there's not much more for Agatha to do. So her to be introduced as this mentor for him,
she's just going to be his Obi-Wan?
I think she could be.
Okay.
And that's the good thing about her too, is she's not good. She's not going to be you need to go save these people. She's going to be like, you can get some power off of that dude right there. I promise you.
You can mess him up and get it if you want it.
Exactly. So I'm interested. We didn't get to see Tommy. We do see the boy who ends up becoming Tommy, because they find somebody who's being tricked. He has no family. He's being drowned by these other bully kids. And so he puts Tommy into that kid's body right as he's dying.
What do you think happens with the witch that survives?
Oh, Jennifer Kale, who is actually the cousin of one Ghost Rider.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I didn't until I heard it the other day. She is meant to be kind of like the leader for the witches going forward.
Okay.
They call her the way forward when she leaves. That's why the one, I'm not want to talk about it because it's the greatest scene in the series to me. She's like, you're the way forward. You're going to make it out. And so that was great.
Well, why did we need all that?
Are you fucking listening?
I am, and I still don't understand why.
This is a guy who sees.
Hold on a second. I want to ask this.
Pulling for an hour. Why the fuck can't I pull this door?
That is
and the sign
also
says
true.
Push, and you're like, I'm trying to pull it open.
Why not, Nillo?
Yeah, why not?
I just don't see the tie. I guess because of the sorcerer.
Not everything needs to have a tie-in, though. Not everything needs to be a part of the main continuity. That's it. That is the greatest way to drown a story, is where every single thing that you put out is the main storyline. You have to have some sort of relief. You have to.
I'm not saying it has to be main storyline, but it has to, are you building towards what you are going to do?
I think
you don't have to. It's an entire franchise. It's an entire universe, Nello. Not everything has to revolve around the current storyline of the main MCU.
I want it to go to the new.
But this is the thing that really sucks for Marvel, in my opinion. It's the thing that happened with Endgame, right? Because now you've had a saga where all the dots finally connected. So everybody's now going, well, what dot is that? Where are we going with this? Man. Well, this doesn't connect to this. Well, why not this? So you've already had this completed puzzle. So you're looking for a completed puzzle in just the pieces. And you'll get there. Nobody said, well, why the fuck did they put the Reality Stone with the Collector? That makes no sense. Why would he have it? Right? You were willing to go, that's cool. He's got the stone now. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Now that it's
they even say that in the movie. That's a bad idea.
Yeah. Right.
I guess you're right on that aspect. I like the fact that everything connected, and now I see a jumbled mess, and I don't see the picture on the wall. I see
Nello is that dude from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's got the detective board behind him.
Sylvia.
Yeah.
Pepe Sylvia. I got boxes full of Pepe. None of these people actually exist. We're not going to get fired. Because we've already been fired. But I shipped those pink slips off to Siberia.
I don't know.
I'm okay with not everything Marvel does being directly tied to the saga or even future saga of what's going on. Because you know what's awesome about a story like this is 3 or 4 years from now, a movie's going to come out where one of these characters has a cameo or something is brought up about that storyline. You're going to be like, oh, shit. That's right, Agatha 3 years ago.
I guess I didn't,
and that's going to make Agatha even that much better.
I didn't see your concept of it opening the door for the Young Avengers. Now that I get what you just said, and
Billy is a Young Avenger. Vision.
Now I understand, and it's going to.
It's Tommy too. Tommy is Speed.
So I get it. Now I get it. But that didn't click when I saw the show.
He's not Quicksilver. People get confused. He's not Quicksilver. He has the
Speed
powers as Quicksilver, but he's Speed.
Yeah.
So and they are also going to be a big reason why Wanda Maximoff comes back in a major way.
Yeah, that's going to be a great way to reintroduce. Yeah, for sure.
They're going to find her brainwashed with Dr. Doom, not knowing who she is or why she's important, but Dr. Doom is going to hold her like the queen on a chessboard. And she's
my thing is this too. Does she dreamwalk into another Scarlet Witch, or does she actually survive the destruction of the temple?
I think she survives. I think there's
does Doom come in and save her before the destruction and he takes her?
There's a lot of rumblings online about Doom and Wanda.
I think she gets severely hurt, but not dead, to where she loses that memory and Doom saves her. But Doom in Battle World, which he's created in the whole Secret Wars thing, he wipes everyone's memory anyway. So who's to say he doesn't grab her and then wipe her memory somehow?
Well, it sounds like they're going with the Secret Wars 2 premise of Battle World instead of the original Secret Wars premise, which I'm all right with, because it would be so difficult to introduce a character like the Beyonder, simply because there is no one in Marvel that can stop him.
I mean, like that's kind of the antithesis of Mephisto. So it's like you're not going to just, I don't know. Mephisto is another character that I think needs to be treated with the kiddest of gloves. You can't have him be a major villain.
He's always one that manipulates from behind the scenes though too.
Right.
And if they carry him in that same light, then I'm okay with them doing whatever they have to do with Mephisto. He's never one that actually, picks up an axe and starts battling people. He's always behind the curtain, behind the scenes.
And he's not a killable person either. He's not somebody that you just go down and go, well, you're dead now. It doesn't work like that.
You can beat him, but he'll always be there. Right. He'll always be around.
That's exactly what happens in the comics. Every time he's defeated, he just goes back to hell and he comes back in a later story.
Exactly. I don't know. I think Agatha, for that same reason, was just kind of a great piece of storytelling, no matter what. I wonder
when we get Mephisto then.
Right, he's been mentioned, and if the Hood is showing up in Ironheart, that's another one, because the Hood has definitely got big deals with Mephisto.
Well, not only that, but if we're getting Mephisto, we're going to get Ghost Rider.
Right. Oh. What if Ghost Rider is brought in to bring people down and is kind of brought in as an anti-villain and other people have to fight him?
What do you mean?
He's almost like he's like a Thor Ragnarok. He's the Hulk. He ends up showing up being that guy who they're trying to fight, they're trying to stop, and then he's like, I don't like this. Makes sense.
Well, there's nobody in the MCU right now that could go toe-to-toe with the Ghost Rider.
Right. Not a fully powered Ghost Rider who knows what he's doing. Not even Thor, not Sentry, not any of those guys.
Well, Sentry probably could, but we're not getting that Sentry.
Not even Sentry?
No, Sentry could.
I disagree. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for us here at the Alter Ego Podcast, episode 181. Whew, we will be back next week for your listening pleasure. I've been your host, Bill Danger.
I've been your assistant to the host.
And, of course, Mr. Nello.
I've been the guy sitting in the corner.
The Shylock.
Hopefully we get Ryan back next week as well, but we will see you guys on the other side of the Witch's Road of Agatha when we do the thing that they say they're going to do.
Going down.
When they